All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the story of a truly fascinating figure from ancient India, an emperor named Samudragupta. And this guy, he was as brilliant with a musical instrument as he was with a sword. He didn't just get an empire, he built one from the ground up, using everything from brute force to diplomacy and even art.
He's often got this nickname, the Indian Napoleon. That actually came from historian Vincent Smith, and you can totally see why. His military record was just spectacular. I mean, the man was literally undefeated. But here's the question we've got to ask. Was he just a conqueror?
No way. Not even close. And that's what's so cool about him. Samudragupta was this incredible mix of opposites. On one hand, you've got this fearsome warrior, a military genius who was apparently covered in scars from all his battles. But on the other hand, he was a famous artist, a poet, and a musician. So to really get who this guy was, we got to rewind a little. We need to look at the world he was born into, at the family and the dynasty that really set him up for everything that came next.
See, the Gupta dynasty didn't start out as this massive empire. In fact, his grandfather was just a local chief, with the title Maharaja, which just means king. But his dad, Chandragupta I, he had way bigger plans. He took things to a whole new level, calling himself Maharaja di Raja, which means king of kings. That's a serious upgrade.
So how do you go from king to king of kings? Well, a big part of it was a really, really smart political move. His father married a princess, Kumara Devi, from the super powerful Lichavi clan. This wasn't just about love and marriage. It was a political masterstroke. It gave the Guptas a massive boost in power and respect, handing the young Samudragupta an incredible head start. And when it was time to pass the torch, his father didn't just pat him on the back and say good luck. He gave Samudragupta this monumental task. He basically looked at his son and said, "Don't just rule this kingdom. I want you to rule the entire world." I mean, talk about pressure, right? But that set the stage for everything to come. And you know what? Samudragupta absolutely took that command to heart. He launched this incredible military career that completely redrew the map of India. And what's really brilliant is how he did it. He didn't just have one plan, he had 3 totally different strategies for building his empire. Okay, so strategy number 1. For the kingdoms right there in the northern heartland, his approach was, it was ruthless, simple and brutal. He rolled in, defeated 9 kings, guys like Nagasena and Ganapatnaga, and then, according to the official records, he had them violently exterminated. Just like that. Their lands swallowed up, becoming part of the Gupta Empire. But here's where it gets interesting. For the kingdoms way down south, he did something completely different. He knew trying to rule them directly from so far away would be a nightmare. So he showed this amazing flexibility. He marched down there, beat 12 kings in battle, and then what did he do? He put them right back on their thrones. The catch was, now they had to pay tribute to him. It was an absolutely brilliant move. He got their loyalty and wealth without the headache of ruling them himself. So after all that conquering, his reputation just started to precede him. And that brings us to strategy number 3, which is kind of my favorite because it involved no fighting at all. His name alone became a weapon. All these frontier kingdoms, powerful tribes, even big foreign players like the Sakas and Kushans, they just gave up without a fight. They looked at his track record and decided, you know what? We'll just pay the man. It was easier than facing his army.
And this reputation, it wasn't just talk. It was earned in blood. His own court poet wrote about him being this hardcore, battle-hardened warrior. The inscription literally says he had 100 wounds that look like marks of glory. This wasn't a king sitting back in a palace. He was on the front lines leading the charge.
But, and this is a big but, as incredible as that warrior image is, it's really only half the picture. The story does not end on the battlefield. Now we get to the other side of Samudragupta, the part that's, in some ways, even more fascinating. We're talking about the artist, the scholar, the man who was about way more than just war. Yeah, forget just a soldier. This guy was so good with words that he earned the title Kavi Raja, which means king of poets. He was an expert musician. And get this, his mind was supposedly so brilliant it could put to shame the preceptor of the gods. He wasn't just ruling, he was fueling a massive cultural boom.
And this wasn't just a hobby, okay? This was central to who he was. The proof is right there on his money. Think about it. Most rulers put their face on a coin with a sword or a crown. Samudragupta? He put himself on his gold coins playing a veena, a stringed instrument. The same official records that talk about his 100 battle scars also praise his lovely performances of music. That tells you everything you need to know about what he valued.
So, okay, he's built this massive empire, culture is booming. What's left to do? For Samudragupta, there was one final step to prove he was the absolute, undisputed top dog. He decided to bring back an ancient, incredibly powerful ritual, something that hadn't been seen in his part of India for centuries. It was called the Ashvamedha, or the horse sacrifice. Now, this was the ultimate power move for an ancient Indian king. It was this huge, elaborate ritual that basically declared to the entire world, I am the supreme ruler. No one can challenge me. Pulling this off successfully, that was it. That was the absolute peak, a massive statement of his universal authority. So let's pull all this together. We've got the battles, the art, the giant rituals. How should we remember this guy? What's the bottom line? Let's try to break down his whole incredible legacy into 5 key facts. All right, here we do. 5 things to remember. Number 1, the great conqueror, an undefeated military mastermind. Simple as that. 2, the astute unifier. He didn't just conquer, he cleverly pieced together a huge empire. 3, the patron of arts. He was an amazing artist in his own right, a poet and musician. 4, the imperial sovereign. He proved his ultimate power by performing that massive Ashwamedha sacrifice. And finally, number 5, the architect of a golden age. His reign really set the stage for one of the most brilliant periods in Indian history. So when you look at the whole picture, warrior, artist, emperor, it's clear Samudragupta wasn't just one thing. And maybe that's the whole point. He was a conqueror who loved music, a fighter who wrote poetry. He built an empire with both the sword and with diplomacy. How does one person define an entire era? Well, maybe it's by being complex enough to embody all of it at once.